I would write that down, and then I would go through a couple and start explaining what we're doing. I don't know, on the back or the top or whatever. We're going to do this twice. We're going to do around a horizontal axis, which is today. If you're going around a horizontal axis, the x-axis is horizontal, right? So horizontal means x values, because x-axis is horizontal, if I remember it. Or anything parallel to the x-axis. We will start moving that line that we're rotating around up and down. So today, everything is in terms of x, and then tomorrow we'll do everything in terms of y. And then Wednesday we'll practice like both mixed up. Thursday practice test, Friday test. No matter your way. And I'm going to do a couple examples before, like I'm not going to do the ones on here. So maybe turn to the back. We can do a couple of there. Farthest from axis of revolution, closest to axis of revolution. The capital T and B and then the lowercase t and b are on purpose. And this, if you want to get like even more detailed, this is a x value and this is an x value. I like these because I think they're kind of fun to figure out, and they're almost always just set up. Am I good? Are we people have this written out? So let's take a shape. Let's say we have y equals x squared, and the line y equals 4. So that encloses, like the area that is enclosed by those graphs is this bit right here. And for part A, we are going to revolve that shape around the x-axis. So essentially all this is the area thing I showed you. We're going to find the area of one of the circles that goes around from the top minus one of the little circles that goes around the bottom. And when I subtract out that gap, you get the part that's left over. So our formula is, it's really easy to forget the pi. But remember, these are circles. We're making circles. Okay, circles pi are squared. The pi is out in front because we have circles because we're revolving a circle. So then I look at, I'm just going to put like blank squared minus blank squared times dx. Everything in there's got to be an x value. That's fine. I'm in terms of x. My equations are solved. These two intersect at -2 and 2. That's fair enough, right? If x squared equals 4, that's 2 and -2. And then I get into, okay, I got to start revolving and big and little and all that. I want to revolve around, for this one, revolving around this shape, which is the x-axis, also known as y equals 0, right? So what you're going to do is first of all figure out which, you have two equations, y equals 4, y equals x squared. Which equation is farther away from the axis of revolution? From y equals 0. Y equals 4. That's farther away, right? So the next question, so that's the farthest. And then the next question is, what is the distance between that line and the place we're revolving the axis of revolution? It's 4, but like in general, it's 4 minus 0. It's the top minus the bottom. I know you can just look at that and say 4, but I'm going to put 4 minus 0 just to keep like the regular pattern. That one's further away. distance between those is top minus bottom, 4 minus 2. That equation is closer. And what is the distance between those? I'm saying this distance here. 2. You got to be more general, because like this distance here can be indicated by the same way as that distance there, and that distance there, and that distance there. So you can't give me a number because it changes. X squared minus what? Good. Your top equation is x squared. Your bottom equation is 0. So this would find like the big circle revolving around. This would be the small one, and when you subtract, you get like the part in the middle. This part, 3-dimensionally, it'll spread all the way across. I can't draw these for crap. Envision that going around. I don't know. Questions on? I know it's the first one. I'll definitely plenty more, but like questions are coming to mind right now. Yeah. That's just the x-axis. That's not revolve around the x-axis. And I can't throw like x-axis in the equation, so I got an equation for it. So like,
How do you figure out if it's
wash it. It doesn't matter. We'll get to it, but it really doesn't make sense. When you do the disc, the second part of it, you flush up against it, right? So let's say we have when you have a disc, it'll be flushed up against it. So when you go to subtract out the smaller part, it's just 0. So you'll end up with 0 minus. We'll do one. Other questions on that one? I'm not too great. See what you think. Can everybody see the green? Is that good in the back? Okay. Now we're going to go around y equals 8. Y equals 8 is way up there. We're going to revolve around that. So this shape, coming out of the board, going up, going around the other side, it's going to make a 3-dimensional circle filled shape. We want to do the same thing. Don't forget your pi, because these are all circles. Still negative 2 to 2. And I'm going to set up kind of my general pattern there. So you got to figure out which one's farthest from y equals 8 and which one's closer to y equals 8. Sometimes drawing a line helps. If I just draw a vertical line, like the one I come to first is closer, right? So y equals 4 is closer. The one that I come to second is farther. So which equation is farther away from the axis of revolution? Y equals x squared. And what is the distance between the axis of revolution and this curve? Top minus bottom. A minus x squared. So, just an example of what Carter said, if I have like, this is at 1 and this is at 4, and I said how far apart of those, you wouldn't tell me negative 3, right? You'd tell me 3 because you do like the top minus 1. The closer one to the axis of revolution, so it's just the other one, right? So this equation is closer, and what is this distance? You can tell me 4, but how did I get that 4? Top minus bottom, 8 minus 4. Questions on? Huh? Yeah.
when you draw the line up? I don't get it. Like, if you draw the line up, kind of different, part of the graph, and then you say the line up
You want to show me? I don't really.
like, if you were, okay.
Do you mind? I don't want like embarrassing. I don't know.
Like, what if I were to like draw a line right here? And when it hit,
Because that's not in our region. It's negative 2 to 2, like you're outside of it. It would change for sure. Thank you. Oh, good. What?
Negative 2 and 2, that was just part of the problem, right? That was
No, I got that by those two equations have to be equal where they cross. So if you solve that, you get plus minus 2. Fair enough. So because what Antonio's drawing is outside of that, it doesn't matter. If I were doing it over here, he's right. That would be the top one, and that would be the bottom. Alright, I want to do 2 more, but I want to like start over with my drawing because that's clutter. Nobody need anything up here. Same drawing. Y equals x squared. Y equals 4. Got this shape. I'm going to revolve around y equals negative 3. That's down there. It's not very to scale now that I look at it, but that's okay. We're going to revolve around that. It's fun to draw these little, at least I think it's fun to draw these little circle things. Try to get it perfect every time. So, set up our normal stuff. Negative 2 to 2. I'm going to have the farther top minus bottom squared minus the closer top minus bottom squared. And all this is the big circle minus the small circle. Do you want a second to like try to think through it? If you're not confident, you don't have to write it down. Think what you would put in that. So, what matters is the distance from the axis of revolution. So I start at the axis of revolution and I draw that line. Or maybe you don't need the line. But which equation's farther away is your y equals 4. And then what is that distance from y equals 4 to the axis of revolution? That's 7, right? But like top minus bottom form would be 4 minus negative 3. But you could put 7 squared. You could put 49. That is 7 squared. And then the equation that's closer is the y equals x squared. So what is this distance here? Top minus bottom, right? So x squared minus negative 3, or plus 3. Those are fine. Questions on that? Yeah. We don't. Not a couple. Not in this. But it does get into like you go through the middle, or there's like diagonals you revolve around. We're just not doing that. But there's one thing we haven't done, and it's what Carter was asking. So part D, I'm going to revolve around y equals 4. Did I go A, B, A, B? So this should be C. So now, around y equals 4, so this is actually the disk method, and I'll show you why it doesn't matter. When I revolve around y equals 4, I'm flush up against y equals 4, right? So when I revolve around that, the equation that's closer is on the line. It's literally right there. So that what you put here in the second part is going to be 0. Because you're not subtracting anything, because there's no middle. Let's talk through it. This is a harder kind of flush one because the flush piece is above us, and most people it's harder to think about. But if I wanted to go through it, so y equals 4, so I got my two equations, 4 and x squared. Which one's farther away from 4? 4 or x squared? Probably x squared, right? And how far is x squared away from 4? Is top minus bottom is 4 minus x squared. Now the second part is why we can use washer to do this. So which equation is closer to y equals 4? Y equals 4. how far is it from y equals 4 to y equals 4? 0. So like really what you're doing here is 4 minus 4, but you can just do 0. And so books will teach you like the disk formula is just this, and the washer formula is all that. But they're the same thing. You just, the second part you just instead of putting zeros, if you do every single one as washer, this just becomes 0 for the way. So he did that in 2 parts, which I think is just more time than needed. I'd rather spend more time practicing that than doing that. Questions on any of those 4? You got more room on your paper still? Any more paper? Let's say y equals square root of x, y equals x squared. Those intersect at 1, 1. And I'm just going to give you, I'll give you 3. First go around the x-axis. Then go around y equals 5. Then go around y equals negative 1. I don't know if you guys noticed what Will? I just like totally spaced out your name. What Will was asking, but he was saying like, will I have to revolve around something that cuts through the middle? And you won't. So you'll never have to revolve in this case around like 0.5. Yes. So the area, they would say the area is enclosed by like those 2 points. Well, I'm sorry. I'll learn your name eventually. The 0 to 1 I'm putting up here, are those the x 0 to 1s? Or is that the x 0 to 1 or the y 0 to 1? They're both 0 to 1. It's the x one I'm doing. It's that number I'm really. Alright, so I'm going around the x-axis. I would say which one is farther away from the x-axis? That's the square root of x. How far is it from that equation to where we're revolving around is the square root of x minus 0. And you could just put square root of x. You could actually square that and just put an x there without the square. And then the closer one is x squared. The distance from there to the axis of revolution is top minus bottom, or x squared minus 1. And that would be your setup for A. Questions on it? What do you have? What did I do?
It's minus
Oh,
zero.
minus 0. Yeah, my fault. shape. So which one's farther away is your x squared. And the distance between those two is top minus bottom, 5 minus x squared. Which one's closer is the square root of x. Again, if you're not sure, because it is kind of weird to look at sometimes, just draw a line. The one you hit first is closer, the one you hit second is farther. So this is going to be 5 minus the square root of x. Is that okay? How many of that one? Okay. And then the bottom one, y equals -1, is way down here. So which one's farther is the square root of x. What is that distance? It's top minus bottom, square root of x minus -1. Or square root of x plus 1 is fine. And then same idea, this would be x squared minus -1, or plus 1. That's fine. Question on any of those three? How do we give me like thumbs up, down, sideways? How do we do? Cool. I want to do one more. I missed it. Yeah, give me a second. So this is y equals 9. You don't have to write it down. I know some of you are out of room. This is y equals the square root of x. This is the point 9, comma 3. I want you to revolve it around y equals 9. So I want to do another like flush one. But you're right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. What's the problem? Is that better? Try that one. That's better. Okay, so we're going around y equals 3. We're going right around that, and we're going to flush up against it. So which equation's farther away from 3? 3 or root x is going to be root x, right? And what's that distance? Top minus bottom, so 3 minus root x. And then which equation's closer? 3, and how far is it from 3 to 3? 0, so you could just like wipe that out. You could put 0 there, you could put 3 minus 3 there. But that's essentially the distance when the second part just like wipes out. Is that okay? Alright. Do your homework. Yeah. No, we're not using the books. It's just the packet I gave you. I mean, you should still do it, right?
Oh no.
It's just like logistically.
No, because if I was like if you were collecting this
So when you guys turn in your stuff for the test, it's just a pain to like collect a book and then like today's worksheet file. They'll just get a book. Yeah, I mean you should do this. Right?
It's zero.
I say you only check.
But if we put it in our book. Staring at that, I was like, what is
not hard. Wait, so what's in the book? Like, do we have to come?
No. I'm saying we're doing these instead of the book for these sections. But I'm also saying it's just too big of a pain in the ass to collect from everybody a book and 2 worksheets. I don't want to. So I'm just going to collect the book.
I'll collect the worksheet.
Oh, and then the.
How mad would you be if we showed you the worksheet? Like, would you be really angry?
If I said just show me the book and you show me the worksheet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like veins would start popping
Points
out.
down, like, just like, minus 54. Not a friend. It's like, that's what that is.
So anger doesn't concern you.
Yeah, it's
You
like
just hear my
points
point.
down. Yeah,
Like you'll make me mad.
right.
Just points.
Eric doesn't care.
The beginning of the year. Never mind. I shouldn't play this.
No, you're out.
Yeah. Here we go. You do have approximately 0 pounds.
If anyone in the room finishes their packet today, then we'll tell.
There's a thing that happened at a staff meeting, and I feel like things that happen at staff meetings. That was at the beginning of the year. It was a long time ago.
Why was it brought up?
Because it had to do, like when Eric asked me